Alexandria hosts many opportunities for live music during the year. Brown Bag concerts are Friday lunchtime events held in the downtown mini park. Everyone's invited to bring a bag lunch, a lawn chair, and enjoy the free show. Brown Bag concerts are held during the fall and the spring of the year. Watch local listings for dates. Downtown Rocks is another recurring outdoor concert series that features some of the best musicians in Louisiana. Held at 6 p.m. on Fridays, Downtown Rocks is free to the public. Refreshments are sold by area vendors, and the atmosphere is enjoyed by all. Check our website or this channel for the next Downtown Rocks concert series.
I'd like to call the Alexandria City Council to order. We got invocation. I'm going to ask Reverend Emil Jones to do the invocation. Mr. Hobbs do the pledge.
Let us pray. God our Father, we thank you for expressing your beauty in such splendid ways. We pause to say thank you for this enjoyment. Thank you for entrusting so much of your business to our hands. But we need your wisdom, and we need your strength, and we need your guidance. Thank you for the men and women who sit in the seat of decision making. And may we steer a fair course that all will be blessed. Again, bless our gathering. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And a happy birthday to Brother Green, my assistant pastor.
You'll get him kicked out of the church.
I'm not going there.
Can we get a roll call? Let's see it.
Mr. Lawson.
Certainly.
Mr. Fowler.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Present.
Mr. Smith. Here. Mr. Silver. Mr. Hobbs. Mr. Marshall.
President.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
When we go to the city calendar,
Number 2, the Public Works.
What is that, Tim?
Number 2,
To where?
Public Works.
number 11, the personnel.
I move.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Lawson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We go on to section F. Ordinance for final adoption. Subject to public hearing.
Number 23, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted for underground electric construction unit pricing for the electric distribution department.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 24, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted for brass fittings and miscellaneous items for a 6-month period.
Moved by Mr. Lawson, second by Mr. Hobbs. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 25, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an engineering agreement with Monso Buller and Associates for Highway 1 North Sewer Extension Project and St. Mary's Bar Screen Project.
Moved by Mr. Lawson, second by Mr. Hobbs. All in favor?
Okay.
Opposed?
Lewis,
Motion carries.
got to ask for discussion first.
Anybody got a discussion on it?
Number 26, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into amendment number 1 for consulting services with Gulf Coast Aerial Mapping Company.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Silver. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 27, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept donation of a utility servitude situated in Section 43 to provide electrical service for a proposed redevelopment at MacArthur Village Shopping Center.
Moved by Mr. Hobbs, second by Mr. Lawson. Discussion?
Let me say this, some of these things that kind of boilerplate things, I wish, particularly since we're probably gonna become a lot more aggressive, that we allow some latitude with some of these donations, and certainly maybe even some servitudes that we're looking at. Let's work on something we can come back on, so we won't get tied up in some of the smaller things and details as relate to these, and find the threshold which we
I
feel
think
comfortable.
this is, Mr. Smith had brought this up at several meetings ago.
That's why I was
About
wondering.
giving,
Mr. Lawson, we are working on an ordinance right now that will allow the mayor to accept things of value on behalf of the city so that we don't have to run it through the normal
We just come up with a
legislative process.
threshold that we feel comfortable. We can get that done.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 28, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept change order number 1 with Riley Contracting Company for roadside open ditch closures, work task number 6 for Elizabeth Street drainage improvements.
Moved by Mr. Fowler. Second by Mr. Johnson. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 29, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with All Store Properties for acquisition of a parcel of land required for the construction of the extension of Versailles Boulevard Phase 2.
Moved by Mr. Silver, second by Mr. Hobbs. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 30, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept donation of property from the Lake District for the acquisition of land required for the construction of improvements associated with the extension of Versailles Boulevard Phase 2.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Johnson. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 31, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing acceptance of the dedication of a 15-foot wide utility servitude located in part of Spendthrift Plantation, proposed village at Versailles Track on Versailles Boulevard.
Moved by Mr. Fowler. Second by Mr. Lawson. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 32, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing acceptance of various utility servitudes located on property owned by Bayou Rapides Development located at the intersection of Browns Bend Road and MacArthur Drive.
Moved by Mr. Hobbs, second by Mr. Fowler. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 33, to consider final adoption of an ordinance annexing a 25.179 acre tract of land known as West Side Habilitation Center located on Enterprise Road and the adjacent right-of-way of Enterprise Road.
Moved by Mr. Fowler. Second by Mr. Lawson. Discussion?
Yes, I just have a question. Maybe the administration, maybe Mr. Johnson, you can answer in regards to this item. Is this for additional group home in that area? Or is the administration aware of anything in regards to this proposal?
Oh, no, sir, Mr. Johnson, this is not a group,
Okay. You know, for that tract of land? Okay.
not a group,
Okay.
or a community.
Okay. Thank you.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 34, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing acceptance of subdivision plat for Cypress Point Condominiums Phase F, Building 6, located in part of Lot J and K of the Lake District Phase 2, second filing.
It's moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Hobbs. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 35, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a written cooperative endeavor agreement with Ash Sports Camp to make provisions for 100 youths within the city meeting income guidelines as recommended by HUD to attend a sports camp held during the months of June and July.
Moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Fowler. Discussion? I got a question on this. Why are we limiting it to 100? Is there a specific?
Because that's their request for what they can handle at this point.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 36, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a written cooperative endeavor agreement with the Boys and Girls Club to make provisions for city youth meeting income guidelines as recommended by HUD to attend the summer camp held at the Alexandria branch located at 1801 Sylvester Street during the months of June and July.
Moved by Mr. Lawson, second by Mr. Fowler. Discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Okay, Mr. Marshall, I think the mayor asked for some clarification on the item.
Just on 33, Johnson answered that it wasn't a group home. It's not a group home, but it is a habilitation center at West Side. It is being proposed, if you look at the fact sheet, I think that's why he stepped out to talk to James about it from a planning standpoint. I believe it is for the purpose it would have an infirmary located. There's up to 16 folks that would be located, but it's not a group home. It's not in a residential home. It's a whole development, and it's not in, from my understanding of where it is, there's not a neighborhood immediately adjacent where we would have some of those issues.
Right.
This came before council.
Yeah, this, it's in a multifamily,
It's in Lewis's district, because it was,
Yeah, the question came up, and we did address it, I think, a few
and
weeks ago.
the answer is correct. It's not a group home.
Not a group home.
It's a habilitation center that is beyond that. I think there'd be up to 16 people living there, but it has an infirmary, a staff, and it's my understanding from where the area it is that there was no objections coming out at this point.
I went over and talked to some people that live over there in the area, and no one objected to it because it's been there for a while. It's just that they want to come into the city limits.
Right.
You have a
already
standing
built.
policy that doesn't allow you to extend infrastructure if it's better for them just to come in, and that was the original request, was to use our infrastructure but not come into the city. And because of that standing policy, which we think is basically the right way to do it, we would annex those folks in, and it is contiguous to the current city limits.
That's correct.
That answers my question.
This is memory, so you gotta ask James.
That answers my question. That answers my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
'37.
This,
To To consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a written cooperative endeavor agreement with COPE, Challenging Opportunities for Post-Secondary Education Incorporated, to provide an educational summer enrichment program for the city's youth from June 2nd through the 27th, to be held at the Teen Activity Center located at 815 Casson Street.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Hobbs, second by Mr. Fowler. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 38, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract and agreement with the Board of Supervisors of Louisiana State University and Agricultural and Mechanical College related to a business education center.
Move.
Mr.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Hobbs. Discussion?
Yes, the administration has a couple of amendments on this point, on this ordinance. We would like an effective date clause amended, the ordinance amended to put an effective date clause so that the ordinance is effective on signature of the mayor, which this is a normal process. We think that the contract would need that so that we can go ahead with the business education center.
I move to amend.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Hobbs. On the amendment, all in favor? Opposed?
Abstain.
We have additional amendments. We have an additional amendment, and I'm going to explain the reason first, Mr. Marshall. We have an opportunity to also enter into a agreement with the state that pertains to a grant award to receive certain funds for marketing for the city. We believe this ordinance would be germane because this ordinance deals with a cooperative endeavor agreement, also with another state agency.
I move to amend.
Yes, sir. We'd like to amend the title to provide, let me read the exact language. After the verbiage dealing with the agreement with the LSU Board of Supervisors to further provide authority for the mayor to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with the State of Louisiana Department of Economic Development for a Tier 2 matching grant award for marketing for the city. That would be the first part of the amendment, Mr. Fowler.
Is it proper to amend, make a motion at this time?
Yes.
I so move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Johnson, as on the amendment.
Yes, and one more.
You got one more? Can we just do all of these at one time? And
Go ahead and vote on it. You can go ahead and vote on this, and then I'll give you the last amendment.
Okay.
As amended.
As amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Now, we have another amendment, section 1A, that will say, be it ordained by the council of the city of Alexandria, Louisiana legal session convened, that the mayor of the city of Alexandria is authorized to further enter on behalf of the city of Alexandria into a contract and intergovernmental agreement with the State of Louisiana Department of Economic Development for a 2-tier matching grant award for marketing for the city, period.
I so move to amend.
Move to amend, Mr. Fowler.
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson.
Can you tell the public why this is so that everybody
Right,
understands?
yes, and
It's
I'll
the
explain.
same thing, Mr. Lawson, that you were talking, it's to accept the grant
Yeah.
Right,
that we can't do because we're
Let's
not going to have
finish the
time
vote.
to accept it.
Let's
sorry.
finish the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One abstention.
Lawson
Okay,
second.
and I will explain what we're doing. We learned yesterday, a few days ago, that we had an available grant from the governor's office of economic development that can be used. It's not a large grant, but they told us we had to accept it by tonight, and that was the reason we wanted to do that. The legal department felt that the ordinance that we're dealing with here is germane because it's dealing with a contract with the state through a state agency for a cooperative endeavor. We think that this amendment that we just added would be germane, and it would be timely to add this so that it could be passed out. And since it has an effective date immediately on signature of the mayor would be able to execute the additional contract.
The money was spent when we had our Mardi Gras items that Mr. Bill Hess got this grant for other items that we did at the presentation. Mr. Hobbs, you were present in Mardi Gras at the party that was hosted by the city. The cups, all the glasses, all those things. When it came time to then accept the grant, the state sent it to us in early May. It did not give time for you to have a 2-week layover, so we're asking that we be able to accept it. That's the purpose of the amendments. Otherwise, we're going to have to give up money that is offsetting and free to our citizens from the state to offset those costs. It was planned in our budget. It was discussed in front of you all those months ago in front of the public.
Vote as amended. Vote as amended. Also moved.
Moved by Mr. Hobbs, by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Hobbs, as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Got one abstention. All in favor? No. Motion carried. Now we go to committees. 39.
Number 39, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a professional services agreement with Kathy Sellers Johnson for certain services.
Moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Silver. Mr. Smith, I'm sorry. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Number 40, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a consulting agreement with GDS Associates to assist in electric reliability, compliance, and other electric projects or issues that require additional professional support.
Moved by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Silver. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Now we go to public hearing.
Number 41 is to continue the public hearing on structures located at 1432 Levin Street and 64 Eastwood. The administration requests that 1432 Levin Street be continued until August 26.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Johnson. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
The structure located at 64 Eastwood, they would like to be continued until June 17th, 2008.
Moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Fowler. Discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Public hearing closed.
Public hearing is closed. Committees?
Finance Committee, Mr. Lawson.
No report.
Public Works Committee, Mr. Silver. Nothing. Legal Committee, Mr. Hobbs.
A report.
Utility Committee, Mr. Johnson.
Except for ordinance, which includes the acceptance of the subdivision plat for the Enterprise Place subdivision.
Resident.
Moved by Mr. Lawson,
Second.
Second.
second by Mr. Johnson.
Okay, I also have an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Providence Engineering and Environmental Group LLC to provide certain professional, environmental, and engineering services, including but not limited to a Phase 1 environmental study and other studies and work related to the city's potential acquisition of a 29-plus acre site, more or less of land owned by Kansas City Southern Railroad or a subsidiary, including other properties of the city adjacent or related thereto, which may be the subject of a donation or transfer to the city of Alexandria and otherwise to provide retrospect thereto.
I move.
Moved by Mr. Lawson, second by Mr. Fowler.
I also have a resolution authorizing the appointment of the director and alternate director to serve on the board of directors of Louisiana Energy and Power Authority, LEPA.
This is, that came out of personnel.
Came out of personnel,
Committee.
and it's a resolution.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Lawson. President, we gotta vote on it.
Yes.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I also have another resolution authorizing the appointment of director and alternate director to represent the city of Alexandria on the board of directors of the Louisiana Municipal Natural Gas Purchasing and Distribution Authority. That's a resolution.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Fowler,
Second.
second by Mr. Lawson. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have another resolution authorizing the mayor to reappoint Russell Potter and Mike Day to the Alexandria Municipal Fire and Police Civil Service Board.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Fowler. Second by Mr. Hobbs. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Utility Committee, Mr. Johnson.
No report.
Community Development, Mr. Hobbs.
No report.
Personnel, Mr. Johnson's already reported. Public Safety, Mr. Johnson.
No report.
A&E Review, Mr. Silver. Economic Development, Mr. Lawson.
Yes, I have a resolution to support the efforts that came out of a committee of the efforts that have taken place between the mayor and State Representative Herbert Dixon to promote economic development in the Alexandria effort. I move.
Second.
I think we'll have
I'd like to put down
Move.
three. I'd like to, if you amend it to say that the mayor, city council, and
we can't ignore the bill of character saying that the city council, and it's coming from a certain accepting of the suggestion.
So Harry,
Thank us for coming up with, okay, I'll add that caveat as
no
suggested.
caveat, that's what I said.
I'll explain caveat later. As suggested by my colleague Emma Ray, we're going to add the city council to the resolution. And I'm proud he made it this far without cussing.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I didn't know if no one wanted to comment on it.
I think Representative Dixon's here.
Dixon certainly in the audience. I want
Mr.
to
Dixon,
recognize
Representative Dixon, you
Representative Dixon, and also Reverend Ring, you're doing a good job with Harry Silver, because his language has improved drastically.
Meeting's not over yet.
I'm gonna get some paperwork here together. I want to first thank the council and the mayor for giving me this opportunity to speak to you just a few seconds. I'm looking for my notes.
You know what you're going to say.
Incidentally, I do want to say that your haircut, it really does look
It
good.
does look
doesn't it?
good, right?
We went to the same barber today.
Oh, I found him. As you know, and those that are in the audience know that over the last few months have been very dedicated to a tax incremental financing district. And we started a lively and open debate among the citizens throughout this community, talking about the prospects by which we could move forward. And in many instances, individuals may have thought that this was just a personal thing that was housed in me moving forward, but it really wasn't. It was the passion of those individuals that gave me the opportunity to serve them. And I've served them for not quite 5 months yet. I stand before you with an article, and I'm going to try to not make this too long, gang. But it enlightened me. And usually I don't read blogs because most times they're negative towards me. And nobody want to read negative stuff about themselves. And Lamar White Jr., on occasions, hit a right note. You know, on occasions. And I'm going to read the note that I think was the incentive for what not just me, but the people in the community was passionate about. And Lamar, you do remember, okay, on life in Louisiana, and it's a personal essay on Alexandria, and it's part 2 of 4 series, and I'm only dealing with part 2, and I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I do want to lift some excerpts from this document. And it's about, and he starts out by saying, it's not a big secret that Alexandria has always struggled with its identity, which is one of the reasons the blog tends to obsess over Alexandria's few remaining historic buildings and places. It's a way of rediscovering what we are made of. Every one of those places can tell their own stories. He goes on to talk about a visit to Dallas, Texas, and that was with your grandfather. And I read this excerpt. My maternal grandfather traveled with us this weekend. He hasn't been in Dallas since his mother's funeral over 7 years ago. When we told him that we were going to pick up a family member who lives near McKinney Avenue, he remarked, "That's a bad area of town." Actually, less than 20 years ago, it was a bad area. It was similar to the way many Alexandrians view Bolton Avenue, and I might add Upper 3rd, Lower 3rd, the Sonia Quarters, Samtown, Woodside, and it goes on. Dallas decided it needed to rescue this important area, and they invested millions in infrastructure repairs. Quoting from the National Resources Defense Council, less than 2 decades ago, the area could be more accurately described as an urban nightmare. And it goes on, talking about the efforts of Dallas in the 80s. But that effort fizzled out because of the housing market crashing at that time. And then in a subsequent paragraph, he states, seizing the opportunity, Columbus Realty Trust now posts properties, about 8 properties in uptown area with plans to build apartments, lofts, and townhouses within walking distance of the area's existing businesses on McKinney Avenue. In 1988, Columbus formed a partnership with the city of Dallas to revitalize the area. The city created a tax incremental financing district, which allowed a portion of tax revenues collected in the area to be dedicated to improving the district's infrastructure. The water and sewage systems were revamped, utilities were buried, and streets were repaved. Sound familiar, he said. McKinney Avenue and uptown Dallas are prime examples of what can be accomplished. And he's not arguing in support of a TIF since 1988. Other municipalities have used more innovative methods. We could consider our options. And that leads me, real good, that leads me into SPARK. The mayor, and I'm gonna say this, and I know all of Alexandria is listening, and I'm gonna say this, it's not really being a feud between the mayor and myself. I think both of us have shared passion that something must be done. He seems to think we have a little bit more time, I think, because he's 37 years old or so. I'm 50, going on 59 years old, and I want my grandkids to stay here, not somewhere else. But to his credit and to the individuals within his administration that worked with him passionately on developing this instrument, it is an instrument that can bring us forward. We're talking about $96 million of infrastructure improvement. As I say, this is an instrument that can bring us forward. There, I think, are some things that still need to be done. Harry, you and I talked about those earlier on. And I'm just going to highlight 3 of the things that I think that we seriously need to look at. The mayor has a very positive program to look at each district of Alexandria, whereby we can improve the infrastructure, which is going to be the first prerequisite for businesses located in an area. I tend to think you need to have even more incentives for those businesses to come after we complete the infrastructure. Now, that passion that I have on TIFs comes from my short 5 months there, Myron, looking at the number of TIFs that's finding its way through Louisiana cities and communities. Just in this legislative session, I want to talk about Representative Richmond tax increment financing, a proposal for Lake Forest Plaza District in Orleans Parish. You have Senator Yvonne Dorsey with incremental tax district for East Baton Rouge. You have Representative Avon Honey with a tax incremental district for Baton Rouge. You have Senator Lydia Jackson with an economic development district for Shreveport. And the list goes on, and you can go back in prior years. So my thinking was, and rightfully so, that this could be an instrument that could move us forward. The problem, if any, with my instrument versus the one that the mayor is offering, he has produced $96 million now. My instrument, a tax incremental financing district, would take 2 to 5 years to materialize and to move forward. Now, having said that, I still think that ought to be a part of the mayor's plan as an incentive or a proponent. But I want to just share something else with you. I came to the conclusion that after getting a copy of the mayor's plan and not fully understanding all elements of that plan, and that's why I took off today to come early enough to hear the mayor give that plan to the Economic Development Committee earlier this afternoon. I'm more convinced than ever that he has a plan that can move us forward and move us forward very quickly. But I wanted to, the good Lord watches over me sometime. This was already prepared, and I didn't type this when I did my haircut, Harry, so pass this around, please. And tomorrow I go before the municipal committee. And my intent was to be in this meeting with an approval from the governmental body, which is the city council, to take a TIF proposal before the municipal committee to request them to back my legislation for a TIF for the area that many of you know about, OK Allen to Willow Glen and all those areas in between. However, I got up early this morning, read through this plan several days ago, and there's another story I can tell you about that. But I want to just highlight these bullet points that I'm going to talk about, and of course it'll change just a little bit. Tomorrow, these are the things that I plan to say. House Bill 1094 of the 2008 regular session proposed to create a tax increment financing district in Alexandria. The mayor has proposed a substantial investment in infrastructure in the city, particularly in the areas in most need of such efforts. That includes those areas that I talked about. The mayor's plan sounds good but lacks specifics in the present form. That was prior to me sitting in this room listening at the mayor make his presentation, so that will be changed. In the interest of cooperation, I have decided to defer House Bill 1094 and to work with the mayor and the city in the development and implementation of the mayor's plan. Because one thing that you need to be apprised of with this plan, with such a large local investment within this plan, it's going to make it very easy for Chris Roy Jr., myself, Chris Hazel, who's on the Appropriation Committee, along with Senator McPherson, the Central Louisiana delegation, to capture even more resources at a time when the state is flush with money. And folks, when I say flush, we came into this regular session of the legislature with $997 million over our budget, surplus money. After having a special session, spending $1.1 billion of surplus money, and it's projected in October when the Revenue Estimating Committee comes back before us with dollars that we've gained since May when they gave us the $430+ million report, that it's going to exceed even that amount of money. So the rush the passion, the speed of something happening now, because we don't know how long we're gonna be flush in revenue. But we need to be like Ascension Parish, we need to be like Livingston Parish, we need to be like all of these municipalities that are taking advantage of means by which to grow their community and tend to the business of their blighted areas of their community. So we're on our way with this plan. And then I go on to say, however, I'm also introducing a legislative instrument that will request that the House Committee on Municipal, Parochial, and Cultural Affairs study the status of economic development in Alexandria and the progress that has been made in developing the specifics of the mayor's plan and in implementing that plan. With this instrument and under the rules of the House, the committee will have authority to visit the city prior to the beginning of the 2009 regular session and to get a first-hand look at our progress. Now, two things you need to know. A study is a way to say you lost. Okay, now, I want you to know that, all right? The other, if this was a fight, this was about me being right, the mayor being wrong. But it also says that this committee will visit our community, and I'm gonna push for that hard and ask the other members of the Central Louisiana delegation to do likewise, because we have an active plan now, it's in place, and it's incumbent on all of us to move it forward. But I think it's very important that they see the potentials that lies in this community, and I think that will help us garner dollars down the road. Now, in the event all of this is good talk, a PowerPoint presentation, and about nothing, then I'm going to continue my efforts and reserve their right to do so, to push for tax incremental financing districts or whatever it is to move us forward as a community. But none of that seems to matter at this time, because I think the mayor's plan is a very good plan. I encourage the community at large to support this plan. I encourage the city council to do likewise, with an understanding on those several areas that I think we still need to look at. But with that, I thank you for this opportunity to make this presentation in front of you. I welcome any questions that you may have of me.
I think we're on the round of applause, I think.
Dr. Holcomb?
And, I think we have a resolution, or do we carry a resolution? Supporting the.
Wait.
We never did vote that.
What's on this?
Excuse us just a second, we got a little housekeeping. I don't think we voted on the resolution. On what? On Harry's resolution, when you added the council to it.
Committing the efforts working.
We did. Did we? Did we?
We voted.
I thought we did.
Okay.
No, because we recognize discussion board. I asked that we recognize representative.
I don't think we voted.
Oh, all in favor?
Okay.
Opposed?
Now, we finished.
Thank you very much for giving me a couple of minutes here. I'll be very brief. First of all, I'd like to thank the city for allowing us to use the convention hall next door. As you may or may not know, you're going to have a MRSA Summit tomorrow. That's methicillin-resistant Staph aureus tomorrow. It's from 4 to 6, and it's open to the general public. This is an informational summit that is addressing the general population as well as specific medical populations, and it'll be very informative. Members of organizations will receive a toolkit that will give them information about staph, as well as slides for presentations in their communities, in their churches, in their schools. And so this is a wonderful initiative of the Office of Public Health, plus the area hospitals and AHEC and a bunch of people. So I'd like to encourage those who are interested to come and support this. There's going to be a speakers bureau after that of people that are going to be available to speak in the community about this problem, because it's a problem that affects everyone in the community. Now that was my first commercial. Second commercial is going to be very, very short too. As you may or may not know, on July 16th, they're going to get a renewal for the tax for the Office of Public Health for it's a parish-wide, not a city-wide thing. That's a tax renewal, and we see about 100 plus people a day. We pump $3.7 million worth of salaries into the local area, $7 million in the entire central Louisiana, so we have a huge economic impact. So everyone in here, we do a lot of good, from birth certificates to death certificates and lots of things in between. So I encourage you to vote to renew that tax on the 16th of July.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Was that short enough? Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you again.
I got one. I have a resolution to allow the administration to amend the cooperative endeavor agreement with the 9th Judicial Court to provide additional bus passes for drug court indigents. This is something that we've done in the past, and we've used up the total of the ones we've allowed, and then need some more for the remainder of the year.
I second the motion.
Second. All discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We had to sign up sheet there. And did you sign up?
Well, I'm gonna just be quick.
But really, that's the rules, though, sir.
I know, I had signed up, well, I'm not gonna get into that. Can I just say this? I wanted to say this to everybody. I think everybody still need to be concerned about the utility bills. I'm glad to see as many people out that are out here today, okay? I don't think this thing is gonna get better. I think it's really may get worse. I know we're paying high utility rates, and we still need to be concerned about that. Sir?
What are they, compared to what?
Well, I'm just talking about the utility rates, you know?
Well, I mean, ours are higher than other people's. I mean, you're saying ours are higher, they're higher than other people's, they're higher than Pineville's?
Maybe so, maybe so. Something else I wanted to say is this.
But Mr. Braxton, I would encourage you to come early enough to the council meeting so that if you want to speak for 3 minutes, you sign the list, and then you know, other than that, sir, it's been a long day for us, sir.
I know y'all ready to go. It's
been a very long day.
Can I say this, please? That's all I wanted to say is this. I think, just like what Dixon was saying, we need to really be concerned about this because a lot of our kids are coming from single parent homes in the black community, so we really need to be concerned about the long-term growth of the community, what our kids gonna be able to do with themselves. So that's basically all I want to say about that. We just need to stay concerned, and I want to encourage everybody to come out to that next city council meeting, which is gonna be held, I believe June the 3rd. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. I'll move with adjourn.